So I'm going to give you guys a quick explanation of where I stand, what I believe in, and what drives me. I don't care what you believe in spiritually. It's just more important to see things from my perspective. I believe that we're right in the middle of a huge spiritual battle right now in the world, but specifically the United States of America. And that's what drives me, that's what motivates me, is the fact that there's a lot of lies that's going on right now. The enemy is going to do everything he can to deceive, to put fear in your heart so that you don't stand up for what you believe in. See, there's this idea that it's good versus evil. It's never been good versus evil. It's never been, because good just destroys it. It's not God versus Satan or whatever you want to call it, because God would just destroy it. It's not light versus darkness. What it is, basically, is darkness or evil versus free will, the choices that you make every single day. And the example that I give of that, a dark room only exists, okay, in the absence of light, okay? So it's not darkness versus light. It never has been. Because if you bring light into that room, the darkness stands no chance, okay? It's gone. It disappears. This is one of probably the biggest things that people don't understand in this world, is that you guys have the ability to change the world, each and every single one of you, if you shine your light, okay? And this is the test that we go through throughout our life, from the day we're born to the day that we die. It's just a game. The entire time, the enemy is just trying to keep you to turn your light off, okay? And one of the biggest ways that he does that is he uses fear, okay? Don't believe in yourself. Don't believe that your voice matters, because there's nothing you can do to change the world. And one example I want to give, like Michael Strickland and Andy No. I know you guys know Michael Strickland because he spoke. He did a great job. Do you guys know who Andy No is? Yeah. Okay. This guy's a gay immigrant from Vietnam, a leftist. One of the first interviews he ever did, no one knew who he was. He came up to me and asked me to do an interview. I did an interview, and he was so intrigued, he decided to just kind of follow around to all these crazy rallies that we've been doing. And much like Strickland, the reason why Strickland got big and the reason why Andy No got so big is because they were going into the areas and showing things that no other reporter would do, no other journalist would do, right? They're literally putting their lives on the line to simply expose the truth. Right? The video doesn't lie. That's all they wanted to do. And that's what motivated them. The thing is, there's not a lot of people that are willing to do that. I don't know if you've seen what Andy, Strickland's been kicked out because his free speech no longer exists, okay? I don't know if you guys seen what Andy's been doing. Andy's literally been marching straight up to Antifa to get it on film, and they start like demons. Like, they freak out because they don't want the world to see who they are. And that's really interesting to me. What is it that they're so afraid of to show what they believe in? Because for me, I love it when they get on video. I love it because it exposes them for who they are. But for me or for other people, they would do everything they can to shut me up. Everything. Or you guys. Or anybody that's going to stand up for what is right. Which is interesting to me. Because any one of those guys want to come up here and speak, right? I got no problem with it. Because everything he's going to say, okay, most of it is going to be stupid. Even if it wasn't. If it was going to be smart, then great. I got something to learn, okay? And so that's one of the things in this country right now, is we don't have enough people who are willing to put their lives on the line, are willing to do things that are out of the extraordinary, not just risking their lives. I want to give a quick story. The one time when I went to go give my first speech, it was the scariest moment in my entire life. The scariest. I've done some crazy things. But I cannot remember another time that was more scary. The night before, I barely even slept, okay? The day of, all I wanted to do was run. I didn't want to participate. I didn't want to give my speech. Everything in me was telling me to run. I'd actually left. I went across the street to Starbucks, and I was seriously considering not going back. That's how afraid I was. But here's the thing. That was the enemy doing everything he can to get me to shut up, right? That's it. The enemy was trying to tell me, don't go, don't go, don't go. You're going to embarrass yourself. You're going to look stupid. Because he knew that if I went to go speak my mind, to speak freely, to stand up for what I believe in, whatever it may be politically, he understands how dangerous that is. Once the human soul is released, once it is free, it is dangerous. I hope you guys understand that. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So I go back across the street. I get up on that stage so afraid. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Because I'm shy. Don't really like speaking in front of people. It was a huge thing for me. But I get up there and I start speaking. And within the first minute or 2 minutes, I I've never had a feeling like that in my entire life. I said, this is it. This is part of my identity. This is how God built me, and this is what God has for me in the future. Okay? Now here's the crazy thing. I want you guys to think about this. This is the thing about destiny is it's out there, but it's not forced on you. God has a plan for you, but you don't have to do it if you don't want to. And at that moment in time, before my speech, my life could have gone in two separate directions. And I am absolutely convinced that if I would have ran and didn't give that first speech, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here anywhere doing anything that I believe in, doing things that I dream of. And that's the thing I want people to begin to understand is that this country is soft. It is weak. It has been done on purpose. It is so soft. We don't have men anymore. We have boys. We have half the people out there who claim to be gay are just pretending. Okay? We have a huge problem in this country. And the way that the left or anyone trying to increase the size of our government, because people on the right do it too, okay? Anybody who's doing that, they do it by thriving off of your fear. By you guys keeping your mouth shut, okay? Racist, Nazi. There's so many people who are simply afraid to like a comment on my Facebook, because if you're one of these new people that start commenting or liking on my Facebook, they just start getting all these messages from all these people, like berating them, but it's all fake. None of it's real. Like, who cares if you get a random message from a person who calls you racist when you know in your heart you don't have a racist bone in your body? This is one of the things that... Oh, yeah. They have that sign in the back that says clap or whatever. So this is the thing that I realized when I first started looking into Antifa and seeing what they're about and all that stuff. And Antifa is just a bunch of little punks, okay? So I don't want to give you too much attention. But it's the people who are pulling the strings above them. And it's the silence from the left that's really frustrating. How annoying is it to you that you don't hear people on the left speaking out against Antifa? How is that even possible? So in their silence, they partner with them. So let's use them against them, okay? Until the left speaks out, until the politicians, until moderate liberals, moderate Democrats, or whatever, until they speak out against them, we're going to partner them together, and they can go burning down with Antifa, because we'll continue to expose that relationship, okay? But one of the things I realized that they do from the very beginning, a lot of the work that they do, Antifa or people on the left, a lot of it's behind the scenes, and people don't see it, okay? I had a radio ad up for a rally that I was doing, a Second Amendment rally, on 101.1. I didn't think it was a big deal, put down $2,000. They had a meltdown. The left had a meltdown. They flooded the radio station with phone calls. They started calling the advertisers. They started calling everyone. The company called me and said, Joey, we got to pull that out. We can't do it anymore. We can't do it. They said, we've never seen anything like it, okay? This is the stuff they do behind the scenes. They're so afraid of me simply having a voice, me having a message, and bringing new people in, that they're literally going to spend hours a day calling different advertisers, okay, calling the radio station and making threats. These are the things that happen behind the scenes. There are so many voices that you guys don't know about that start to rise up in the movement, okay? They start to rise up in the Portland area. They start to get some followers, they start to really impact people, and then they disappear, like that, gone. The reason why is because they get threats. They find out where they live. They'll camp outside their house. They will send them pictures of their family to their house and threaten them. Okay? So my thing that I want each and every single one of you here to consider is, how much are you allowing that fear to stop you from standing up for what you believe in? It's a sincere question that you have to ask yourselves. Because fear comes in many directions. One thing, a lot of people are afraid to fail, okay? A lot of people are afraid to fail. The way you look, and especially today in politics, people make fun of you for every single thing. People make fun of me when I succeed, okay? When I fail, they make fun of me 1,000 times more. I want you to ask yourself, are you afraid to put yourself out there because you're afraid to fail? You have to find out what you're afraid of. Find out what that is, identify why you're afraid of that. And usually in my opinion, that's a signal of somewhere where you need to go. Because if the enemy is trying to make you afraid of something, right? That means he's afraid of you going in that direction. So every single time you challenge your fear, you challenge it, you take that step, okay? You take that courageous step and you're going to realize, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. And you're going to build more courage. You're going to build more faith in God. So then you'll be able to take another step, okay? And then the next. And then the next. That's the thing. Take that first step and you will find things that you never even believed could even be possible. Could even be true. I would say most people in this country are asleep or they're awake and they're not doing anything about it. What we need is we need about 10% of the population, maybe even less, okay? Right now it's like 0.0001. We need like 10% of the population who's willing to do whatever it takes to change this country. Willing to put everything out there, no matter what the cost. No matter what. Do we have too many people like Strickland, Andy No, and some other people who are carrying the weight for everybody else. But they're seriously crying for the country to wake up. I've seen Andy, when he goes into those crowds, when he goes and records the way that he's treated simply for being a journalist, he's crying out for the world to wake up and to do something. Why else would he be willing to put his life on the line? And listen, this guy's not like a manly dude, okay? He's very feminine. He's gay, whatever. Speaks very soft. But he's willing to do it, okay? How much time do I have? I don't know.
Oh, you can, I have another half hour for a Q&A. So, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll finish off with this. Well, the last thing that I would like to say, I understand my reputation isn't the best. That's okay. But these days, if you want to have a voice, okay, not just a voice inside a church, hiding in the church as a pastor or preacher, if you want to be someone out in the open, talking about God, talking about freedom, they're going to absolutely destroy the reputation, but I'm okay with it. I am totally fine with it because I did what I believed in. And this is the thing. We have this communist movement, and I'll finish with this. We have this communist movement, okay, and it hates God, and it hates freedom. Hates it. You gotta ask yourself why. Because if you believe in God, and you believe in freedom, you don't need a government. You don't need elitists above you telling you what to do, how to act, what to wear. That's why they're trying to destroy that in this country. And listen, it can't just be politics without God. I am convinced that the only way that we can save this country is through God. That's it. That's it. So I'm going to ask you guys today to think about this. Think about how much of a commitment have you made to change this country? How much of a commitment have you made? And is it enough? Okay? And if you decided that you need to make an actual commitment to yourself and to God to change this country, okay, all you have to do is take your next step. Okay, find out what it is, find out what your identity is, how God built you. Some people are speakers, some people, are not, are journalists. There's all kinds of things. Find out a direction to go in that direction, and all you have to do is not quit. That's it. Just keep going. And you will find something. You will be amazed. Every single time you get knocked down, you get your ass up and you keep going forward. It doesn't matter if you're by yourself or you're with hundreds of people, okay? Put your faith in God. If you put your faith in God, you will have the strength to have a voice even standing alone. With the whole world around you making fun of you, you just keep going forward. Stay the course, okay? Guys, thank you.